Hi, I'm Steve Edwards. Welcome into another edition of the Edit Booth. This is where we give you a chance to take a look at some of the projects we're currently working on. And this week we take you deep inside the world of gadgets and technology with two of the leading experts, Ryan Block and Peter Rojas. Now, Peter you may know from his work on Gizmodo. The two of them also teamed up for Engadget, and their latest venture is an effort called gdgt.com, which brings together gadget geeks from all over the world weighing in with their own thoughts and reviews on the latest products in the world of technology. It's an effort really, frankly, to bring the wisdom of the crowds to these latest advancements. We caught up with them during a recent visit to Chicago, where they were bringing their Gadget in Chicago, their Gadget Live series, together to give folks a chance to look at some of the latest product offerings and latest technological advancements close up firsthand. And we chatted with them about the future of technology. So much has changed in just the last few years. We wanted to get a sense for what they think the future might hold. Here's what Ryan had to say.
But for the most part, I think we've already seen the biggest change over the last 5 years, and that is that people who before didn't have a laptop and a digital camera and a cell phone and all of these devices, HDTVs, now have them, right? So gadgets are no longer just geeky. Gadgets are a part of everybody's life.
Everyone lives in our world now.
Yeah.
So I like to say. I think the biggest change is going to be in 5 years, mobile will be the default. I think when you see most people in the world accessing the internet, they're going to be doing that on a mobile device first and a PC second. And I think right now it's a little bit balanced in terms of, especially here in the US, most people think of the PC as their primary interface for the web. I think in the next few years you're going to see the mobile web and the smartphones being really the primary place where that happens.
We've been concentrating a lot on mobile devices for obvious reasons, but we're looking here at a gathering that features lots of different gadgets in lots of different contexts. What are the other big trends you're noticing right now?
I think we have Boxy and Popbox here, and what they do is they're basically boxes that you connect to your television and then hook up to your internet connection, and it allows you to stream video off the web, and it creates like a very cable box-like experience without having to pay for that cable subscription. So you can access Netflix and YouTube and all sorts of other online video services through that box. And I think what we're seeing is more and more people are canceling their cable TV subscription and getting their TV over the internet. And I think Boxy and Popbox are two ways that people are doing that. That's definitely the one, a big trend that I think we're going to see. Maybe not this year, but I think next year is going to start to really take off.
Another really interesting one is Cherry Pal. They've got the Cherry PCs here, which is the first $99 Android SmartBook that's yet to hit the market. So that's a really, I think, a pretty breakthrough moment for the portable computing space.
Yeah, and they're focused actually on the African market. I mean, they're trying to sell them, like this is something that they price basically for that market. So it's not necessarily as powerful as you might get if you went and bought a netbook or a regular laptop at Best Buy or whatever. But for people who don't have access to computing at all, suddenly it's really $99 is. I'm not going to say that's necessarily cheap for someone living off a few dollars a day in Africa, but it's more attainable than $300 or $500 PC. So we're going to start to see that kind of computing coming down to every level of society.
So Peter and Ryan were talking about some of the products they see on the horizon in the near term, but one of the big questions that always surfaces when it comes to technology is, in the end, what really separates the winners from the losers? We asked Ryan and Peter about that as well.
I think potential to actually make an impact or difference in how people do things with their electronics is one of the biggest factors. So, netbooks have kind of, they flared up really fast and then they're kind of going away a little bit. I think people realize that there's just maybe not as much potential there in the long term because there's just not enough power for whatever the reasons, right? So I think it's not just enough that it's priced well. I mean, it does, it always needs to be priced reasonably well. The iPhone's a great example. The iPhone really took off. You look at the chart, it hit that hockey stick as soon as they dropped it down from $600 to $200. So price is a big factor. Marketing is, of course, a factor. But yeah, I think it's the ability to make an impact on what people do and how they do it.
So in addition to that larger question, we also talked a lot about Android and iPhones. We talked about netbooks. We talked about tablets and what they see as the future for those. But this clip right here actually caught our attention because it was them talking really about how gadgets and technology, how all of this stuff I just mentioned is soaring in popularity at a time when the unemployment rate is high, when we're in the midst of a recession, albeit coming out of one. But the question really is, why are these products so hot right now? And here's what they had to say about that.
I think that they become necessities in a way that they weren't before, and I think that one of the nice things about something like the iPhone, for example, is that you can there's a lot of cool things about it that you can justify. You can justify buying it because you can sort of say, well, it's going to help me be more productive. And even if it's necessarily not going to do that, maybe you would just be as productive with a regular phone or something like that. It's something that people feel like that they can fit into their lives and that'll make their lives better. And I think by and large, for most people, the gadgets do make their lives better. I mean, I think that if you think about just how much more efficient smartphones have made us, I mean, I think being able to come to Chicago and being able to pull out my smartphone and to pull up Google Maps and to be able to figure out exactly where I'm going or where I need to go or to find a restaurant or something like that, I mean, that's better for everybody, right? I mean, it makes my trip more efficient. It makes people in the area, like if you run for a restaurant, you want people to be able to find you, and it's like something that I wouldn't have been able to do before. And so I think it actually has improved things.
So a look into the current state and future of gadgets and technology with Peter Rojas and Ryan Block of Engadget.com during the recent visit to Chicago. Their website, by the way, is gdgt.com, and that's it for this installment of the Edit Booth. I'm Steve Edwards. Now, a quick question for you. Looking for a little crowdsourcing on this, need some help with figuring out how to fix some drop frames. Can you work with me here on this? I have no idea.